Welcome back to Business Spotlight interview with Kent Baim and Nine Business Group. We have Nav Sidhu joining us today. It's been months in the making, Nav, so thank you for finding some time in your calendar to spend with us. So first and foremost, introduce yourself and your company name, what you're good at and what you love doing. Welcome.
Awesome. Thank you, Kent, for having us. My name is Nav Sidhu from Sidhu Investment Group, SIG for short. What we do, we're a real estate and kind of debt broker and equity broker. So I would say 70% of our business is involved in real estate financing, whether that's acquisition, construction, CMHC, industrial, owner occupied, anything to do with money in real estate. And then the other 30% of our company is involved in mid-market companies. So growth equity and growth debt. So that'll be like equipment lending, manufacturing, MRR, so monthly recurring financing, or small business financing, like pharmacies, restaurants, coffee, breweries. We've kind of done it all.
Which one is the hardest? Which one, is there one that is sort of just, if you never got to work in that industry again, it wouldn't hurt your feeling? Is there one that's just a bit harder than the rest? Or does it really come down to the entrepreneur and how strong they are at doing business?
You know what? That's a good question. I would say what's the toughest one? The toughest industry is for sure the restaurant space, the hospitality. That one's tough. It's we ask for projections, we help build them out for the clients, we look at everything, but truly, there's so many factors at stake, right? If you're a restaurant, you're really dependent on your chef and your servers and everything like that. You have to be very involved. Some of the most hardworking entrepreneurs that we run into are the guys and girls in hospitality. And then you're right. You know what? In this day and age, with the current interest in the market, it is very dependent on your backing and your experience and your ability to execute.
Execute comes down to the death of all of us, or help we all win. Isn't that the truth?
Amen.
When you think about your business in the very, it's not a super competitive space, but at the same time, there's other players in it. What makes you different? What sets you apart?
Yeah, there are a lot of financial brokers and private equity guys out there. I would say what sets us apart is we not only talk the talk, we walk the walk. I'm in development. I'm in commercial development. I have operating companies. I have different operating businesses. So we really understand the plight of the entrepreneur. When someone comes to us and like, hey, Nav or anyone on our team, and they're like, we have to get this funding done by this date, or we have this condition date, or I'm about to get the keys on my lease and I need to get the tenant improvements done. I need money. We truly understand because I've been in that position. I've been in that seat. So I would say that sets us apart. The other thing is we're 100% success based. Well, our rule is that we don't take any upfront fees on anything. We've worked on deals for 6-7 months and they've collapsed. The client will come to us and be like, thank you for your hard work. But what we see is that if we take a fee and we're not able to do it, it feels like someone got cheated. Everyone's time is worth something, but we'd rather prefer to see the smile on the client's face at the end of it and then collect our fee.
Oh, that's great. Good for you. I think that's important too, because I think that it's good for recurring business. It's good for the economy. But I think it's also good for your team to understand that winning has to be good for everybody. And if we're just collecting a fee, then your team probably gets motivated different as well. Would you say?
100%, yeah. Like when we have a successful financing at the office, it's a high five all around. Everyone feels like it's been successful, and having those closing dinners and when we sign the commitment letter, there's truly, of course, the check is great. Money makes the world go round, but seeing the client happy, and one of the best things that I've heard from a client is like, they're like, it doesn't feel like just our business anymore. It feels like we're partners, and having that respect. And when a client refers our company to someone else, I think there's no higher form of respect recommending us.
Yeah. Having operate your own businesses, your own business, and been around businesses for more than a year or two. You can tell us how many later. What's the greatest lesson you've learned? What is the greatest lesson that being an entrepreneur has taught you that you want to make sure nobody else learns the hard way?
It's a great question. There's many that come to mind. Some of the obvious ones is make sure you have your funding in place before you take a leap. Everyone I feel has been there where you bite off a little more than you can chew. But one of the most important things is I would say just progress over anything. Whatever the daunting task is, when you're starting a new company, when you're doing everything, build out your to-do list and tackle items every day. Right? You don't have to win in one day. You're not going to land that large client in one meeting. Sometimes it takes multiple meetings and follow up. The other thing is your relationship and your reputation precedes you in especially such a small city like Calgary. Um, even arguably Vancouver or Toronto. So if you have a good reputation and you care for the relationships that you make, it really pays dividends in the long term.
You think so? Even in Vancouver? I mean, devil's advocate a little bit. 1.3 million
100%.
people now in Calgary.
And like even like when we go out there, so say we're doing a deal, right? If we send a bad deal to a lender, that lender won't want to deal with us again. And doesn't matter how big that company is, word travels, right? So we try and take care of our lenders just like it's our own money. So when we're putting them into something, we'll try and underwrite and make sure it's just as appropriate as if we were going to put our funds into it. So that, and I say it in that standpoint that if you burn one bridge somewhere, people, especially bankers, they move around one from RBC to BMO or wherever, and you don't want that profile following you and be like, oh, you know what, don't deal with them. The due diligence isn't always there.
Thank you. Great summary and kind of some greatest lessons. Talk to us now about financing and I've been in business for 20 some odd years now, working with entrepreneurs in different spaces, and there's all kinds of best practices. There's, well, I need 30% down. There's rules of thumb. You hinted to us a little bit on the intro call before we hit record around 100% financing. It's probably the thing we all want is like, how do I get more money and put less cash in?
100%. Yeah. So yeah, like there's a lot of times we tell our clients that, hey, there's 100% financing out there, and they're kind of in shock and disbelief. Now, I'll say that with a grain of salt, right? You want to open up a new restaurant and give me 100% financing. No, it doesn't work like that. Like what we want and what the bank wants is, like I said, the idea that you have the net worth, you have the ability, and you've proven it out, right? So 100% really kicks in for the pharmacy owner or the physiotherapy owner or the restaurant gentleman that, they're on their fourth location now. They're proving out the cash flows are strong, right? You need about 2 years in history. And then we look at it as a new place or a new location isn't looked at as a startup anymore. It's looked at as a growth. So, there's institutions out there that will come in and really follow that plan. So there are ways that you can get it to 100% financing and really leverage the debt. And when we say 100%, we're not talking about private rates or anything like that. We're talking about all the leading institutions. So the Schedule One banks.
So really what you're saying is for an entrepreneur out there, 100% financing is available, but it really comes down to track record, credibility, proven process, if you will, of operating businesses in a profitable fashion. Now, in those cases, do those institutions put liens? If I'm going down this road and I'm giving advice to a business owner or a client, what kind of liens come on? Are they now putting a lien on every other business and other division in the company, or is it really associated with that one new operation, as you say, growth capital?
100%. That's a great question. That's one of the benefits of working with a broker is, the bank is going to ask for everything. They're going to ask for your children. They're going to ask for your liver, your blood type, whatever they can get their hands on, they're going to ask for. And it's just like any lender because they want to securitize their money and they want to make sure they're safe. A good broker is the one that's going to, really step in there and be like, okay, no, this is the asset that we're financing, or this is the company. Now, a quick little example of that could be that if you own a home building company, right? You're going vertically integrated, and now you're going to start a cabinet company. You have the operations there. Now, if the bank could have their way, they would take a guarantee or a GSA, so a general security agreement, over everything. Whereas we'll be like, no, you don't get the building company, you only get the cabinet company because that's all you're financing. So 100% financing, what they're going to want is they're going to want the company that holds the asset or the equipment and where the money comes in. So if the money is coming into one company and then the assets are held at another one, they're going to take a cross collateralization against both and a GSA, first position ranking GSA. But again, it's for those guys that, you have a manufacturing thing, or you have a maybe a trucking company or something where you're equipment oriented. You need to buy another truck. You need to get more equipment. They'll give you 100% financing. as long as everything, of course, metrics work, or higher leverage, right? A lot of what people hear is that, oh, they only finance up to 75%, which is true, but there are ways around that.
Okay. So when there's a will, there's a way. Is that the summary?
100%. As long as the
All
will is
right.
strong.
There's a pirate out there, and he's out plundering all the business and all the things you've learned and all the businesses they're operating. What are the top three things that this pirate is going to steal? AKA, what are the top three things that people need to be mindful of and need to protect when they're growing and scaling a business?
One would definitely be like your processes, right? So your back office stuff, those are always very vital, and that's the items that we keep as close and most confidential as we can for our clients. Second, would be relationships, right? In our industry and everything like that, it's you know when I pick up the phone and call someone at NBC or TD or RBC, I'm calling them. I have a relationship with them. We've worked together for many years. They understand that, right? So that would be one item I think someone would be keen on taking. And then third would just be your intellectual property. So how we put together a file, or how we differentiate from other lenders, like, or other brokers. What we don't do is we don't put the package all together and then hit it to 15 lenders and then go cross our fingers and say, I hope someone takes it. When we see the file, we know exactly, we have two people in mind that are going to do the file, and we'll take it to them and make sure that the information doesn't get spread out.
Excellent. Here's a fun one for you. Is your definition of success for you and your business different than the definition of success for companies that you work with or clients that you have? Or is there kind of a common definition of business success for you and for your clients?
I would say it's common. Majority of our clients and ourselves, we define success in getting a project complete, right? Sometimes the project isn't as profitable for the client, but they have success in getting it complete, right? So again, that motto of progress over perfection. A successful business, or an idea for us, is making a good relationship out of something. We've seen multiple times where it's a tough situation, but people are level headed and calm, and they come out of it in a much better area than they were when they went in. So I would say that's the biggest thing, is it's a successful relationship, or getting something complete is usually the key idea or model between us and our clients.
The question I didn't send you, but for some reason I want to ask it. 10 years from now, 20 years from now, what does it look like for you to be done? I mean, we're always going to work, I get that, but at some point, what does the maturation of your business look like in hypothetically 20 years from now?
What would be really fun for me would be to be able to mentor other younger individuals at that time that are wanting to get into this industry, get into a different industry, or have some sort of an item where you can give back the knowledge you've attained over all these years, pro bono style, right? So help people and entrepreneurs with financing and funding without having to have that sticker price on it that's sometimes unattainable, or shocking. Right now we're in the growth stage, so of course it's important, but 10-20 years, I hope it's more about the relationship than it is about financing.
That's amazing. So the last and final one is the shameless self-plug. Who should find you? What kind of company, what kind of industry, and where would they find you?
Yeah, anyone that's interested in financing their company or business, whether that's real estate, whether you're looking to build 250 units, whether you're looking to build 2 units. If you have a business or a company and you're interested, or the bank scares you, give us a call. Like I said, we're 100% success based. We don't charge, we don't have retainers, we don't have anything like that. You can find us at our website, www.sigcorp.co. You can find me on LinkedIn, and then we have all of our contact information there.
Absolutely amazing, man. I love the space you're in. Keep up the good work. As you know, and as I know around the world, our world would not be the world we're in without entrepreneurs. And so keep helping them be their best selves.
I appreciate your time, Kent, and keep doing what you're doing. It's makes us feel important.
Thanks, buddy. Talk to you soon.
Thanks.